Tonight, still waiting.
Promise, every time promise. Next check will be good, and it was lying.
More workers claiming to be left in limbo.
And they give me a check for $14.41. 3 days after, the check bounced.
After the disappearance of an embattled business. Floating a big idea.
I think we need to really think big and think for the future.
The city of Waterloo could be diving into a debate about a major pool project. The end of one big dig.
It's definitely a short-term pain, long-term gain.
Just in time for the start of a holiday tradition.
It has to be worth it. The infrastructure needed to be done.
Marking a milestone moment in the reconstruction of downtown Paris. Good evening and thank you for joining us. We begin with some breaking news. A person was found dead in a home in Kitchener today after police were called there about a disturbance. Waterloo Regional Police say they were called to a home near Highland Road West and Patricia Avenue. This was just before 1 o'clock this afternoon. Now, when officers arrived, they found someone dead. A female was arrested. Police say this is not being classified as a homicide, and at this point, no charges have been filed. Investigators believe both people knew each other. No details at this time on the ages of anyone involved or how the person died. We are in touch with Regional Police this hour. We'll bring you some more details about this investigation just as soon as we get them. And Regional Police investigating gunfire over the weekend in Waterloo that they say involved people firing at each other from vehicles. This happened early Sunday morning, just before 2 a.m. in the Bridgeport and Weber area. Police say the shots were fired between people in 2 different vehicles. Investigators believe at least one person was hurt, but they've yet to find them. Roads in the area were closed for several hours as that investigation was underway.
There's been no physical injuries that have been reported at this time. However, investigators believe that one of the involved individuals may have suffered injuries as a result of the shooting incident.
And Regional Police investigators, which include the Forensic Identification Unit, well, they've been on scene on Sunday, canvassing for witnesses and for evidence. Now, today, when we asked, police didn't have an update on a suspect or any vehicle descriptions. As the investigation remains ongoing, anyone with information asked to reach out to Regional Police. More claims tonight about workers not being paid properly at a now closed grocery store. The last Dutchie's location closed this month, and that was months after the company's business director was fined and ordered to pay former workers. CTV's Heather Centerin joining us live now. And Heather, we should note it's been more than a year and a half since we first broke this story, which all started with 4 new Canadians who were working at Dutchie's.
A lot has happened since then, Tony. There's been more allegations of unpaid work, not just former employees, businesses and vendors also came forward. Then there were protests, orders to pay, court delays, and a sentencing. But we're going back to one of the people who first shared her story, and she says she's still waiting.
We was so happy.
Natalia Savka fled Ukraine, a war-torn country, for a new life in Canada. After a few months, she landed a job at Dutchie's fresh food market in Kitchener.
I was happy because it's new experience, it's store, service customer.
But it went downhill fast.
Every paycheck, every checks from my salary was concerned.
She claims she's still out more than $4,000, and her son, who also used to work there, is out $3,800.
But promise, every time promise, next check will be good, and it was lying.
Savka was one of 4 whistleblowers who first put a spotlight on claims about unpaid work, leading to a slew of protests and similar allegations. Savka believes immigrants were taken advantage of.
They don't have information, experience.
In June, Dutchie's company director Michael Renkema was sentenced for 13 counts of wage theft under the Employment Standards Act. At the time, Renkema's lawyer said the 13 former employees were paid.
I hope that Minister of Finance will pay all of my money.
Savka was not one of the 13 former employees. While she has a new job, she says she still wants what she's owed as the bills keep piling up.
Pay to rent, pay to some credit, pay to some things for my kids. I have 3 kids.
According to the Ministry of Labor, since 2010, Dutchie's received about 80 violations, with over half unsatisfied or under investigation. Savka hopes this doesn't happen again and claims her friends, who are also former employees, are also still waiting to be paid.
Because this guy know how to fool people, government, system. He know how to do.
The Kitchener store closed in August 2024. Earlier this month, the Waterloo store closed after 15 years in business.
I know that business, Mike's business, how he work, and his business died a long time. It was only official.
In June, Renkema was fined $7,500, and Dutchie's as a corporation was fined $25,000. According to Renkema's lawyer, more than $10,000 was also paid to the Ministry of Labor and Ministry of Finance. Mike Renkema declined to comment on today's story. On the Waterloo store's last day, November 1st, a social media post said the closure will allow Renkema to focus on his health and other commitments, including honoring his promise to former employees and suppliers. Tony.
Okay, Heather Senerin live with more. Thank you, Heather. And now we're going to turn to some new allegations from people who say they worked at Dutchie's in the final weeks before its closure. They, too, claim they are owed thousands of dollars in wages. CTV's Jeff Pickle joining us here in studio. Jeff, you've been following this extensively for several months now, this entire issue. What have we learned now?
Well, Tony, when we heard about the closure of that final store, the Waterloo Dutchie's, in November, we sent a reporter over to that location to get some visuals. And while we were there, an employee came out and told our reporter that they and several co-workers had not been paid and were in need of our help. And today we spoke with 3 employees who worked at Dutchie's during its final months, and they each had similar claims of working very long hours without breaks and not being paid their full wages. All 3 employees said that we spoke with said they did get a check. When that did happen, it would either bounce or that payment was stopped by the sender. An employee named Roy said he worked there for several months and described what it was like trying to get paid.
One time my cousin passed away, I had to tell him my brother passed away just to get some money. He gave me a check. He looked at his brother, him and his brother, and they smiled and they gave me a check for $14.41. 3 days after, the check bounced.
Now, Roy says he's been in Canada for more than 20 years and is originally from Guyana. He said he's owed $10,000. The other 2 workers that we heard from are both 18 years old. One who's fled from Afghanistan. The other tells us she's fled from Eritrea. They say they need the money and are holding on hope of getting paid. Now, tomorrow we will bring you more of a detailed look at their stories. We also reached out to Michael Renkema, the former owner of Dutchie's, who chose not to comment on this part of the story as well.
Okay. Jeff Pickle live in studio with us with the latest, and we'll look ahead to more reporting on that as the days unfold. Jeff, thank you. At Queen's Park, the Ford government is considering some changes which would make some information from the province's sex offender registry public. We'll have that story in a moment. But first, we're going to the disturbing details of an investigation out of Halton region. Thieves accused of stealing jewelry from mausoleums around the Toronto area. Some of the items that were stolen, I should say, contained human remains. CTV's Rahim Ladani has details.
The Last Supper Mausoleum is one of at least 8 across the Greater Toronto area, which police say has been robbed in recent months.
I was outraged. You stole from the dead. What kind of person are you? Those are the words of a grieving family member, a victim of an absolutely heinous crime.
Halton police say this wasn't a crime of opportunity, but one that took meticulous planning, accusing 45-year-old John Rutch and 31-year-old Jordan Noble of going to cemeteries in broad daylight, often posing as grieving family members. Police allege they would then enter mausoleums and use a tool to break the niche compartments open, stealing jewelry, decorative urns, and even discarding human ashes.
At this point in time, we have reasonable grounds to lay 3 charges for and dignity to a dead body.
Police believe the pair committed more than 300 thefts from cremation niches across Toronto, Oakville, Burlington, and the Niagara region. On November 7th, police executed a search warrant at a motel in Niagara Falls. They arrested the duo and found thousands of dollars worth of stolen property. These are nearly 600 of the stolen items which have been recovered by police. Everything from watches to necklaces to very personal keepsakes. And this is just a fraction of the recovered goods because the accused have admitted to melting down many other pieces. The Ontario Association of Cemetery and Funeral Professionals says together with our members, we will continue working collaboratively with law enforcement and our regulator to ensure Ontario's places of remembrance remain safe, secure, and dignified. Investigators believe there are likely other victims who aren't yet aware their niche has been robbed.
And we encourage anyone who may not have been to the site of a loved one recently to check in and ensure it's still secure.
Hundreds of recovered items are now being cataloged and returned to families. But investigators lament many stolen items have likely already been sold at pawn shops.
And that was CTV's Rahim Ladani with details on that investigation. Okay, time to turn to the weather now. Our first check, Alex Pinto in studio with us on this Monday. You know, I feel like the sun was making its best effort to appear all day. I think I saw a few hints of it here and there.
Yeah.
But boy, that cloud was in control.
It was in control for pretty much most of the day, and it felt winter-like, especially after the weekend that we saw too. So you could have seen a light dusting to maybe some bigger flakes over the weekend. But yes, the cloud cover pretty much with us all day. We did get a nice little peek of that sunset just a little bit earlier this evening as well. But getting into the rest of the afternoon into the evening, that cloud cover expected to stick with us, even getting into the overnight hours when we could see a chance for some flurry activity as well. Temperature-wise, 1 degree we're sitting at right now here in Kitchener, Waterloo, 2 in London, 1 in Hamilton. We did hit a high of just 2 degrees today. That was at noon, and then once again at 2 o'clock this afternoon. The good news, though, we are expected to see a little bit more of that sunshine make an appearance. We're going to break that all down in your full forecast coming up. Tony.
Love to hear it. Alex, thank you. Talk to you soon. The Ford government is considering changes to make some information from the province's sex offender registry public. Now, the Premier even suggested he'd use the notwithstanding clause to make sure the change could not be challenged. CTV's Siobhan Morris reports.
The Ford government's contemplating opening up Ontario's registry for sex offenders.
To protect our communities, protect them from people like these. I can't even put the word out there. They're a bunch of diddlers. I can't stand them. They make me sick.
This comes a few weeks after Canada's highest court struck down mandatory minimum sentences for possession of child pornography.
What is the Supreme Court thinking?
And in September, hundreds of people showed up to a Niagara area courthouse after someone on the sex offender registry allegedly broke into a home and sexually assaulted a toddler. That's prompted many Niagara councils to ask upper levels of government
to amend the Sex Offender Information Registration Act.
Legislation to be introduced next week will start the ball rolling.
Have meetings with our stakeholders to see what information can be released.
Doug Ford already clear about some specifics he wants shared.
You have a sex offender and he's living next door down the street and you have a bunch of kids. You want to know about it.
It's going to put some people at risk, I think.
This former Toronto police detective explains the problem is what people do with the information.
Are we going to be looking at vigilantism in neighborhoods, demonstrations in front of homes?
With more eyes watching, there may be more calls to police.
Because the person who's on the sex offender registry was walking past a community center. And people are going to say, oh, I'm calling the police right away because obviously he's in breach.
I asked the Solicitor General if he'd thought about possible vigilantism.
Then that gives a person who's on the registry a greater awareness that, you know, they must behave, they must uphold the laws.
The Premier expects this proposal to be challenged in court, but isn't deterred.
I'll use the notwithstanding clause in a heartbeat.
All right, thank you, Siobhan Morris, for that report. And stay in the know with the CTV Kitchener newsletter. We've got a look at the day's top stories, the latest weather forecast, some must-see videos, all right to your inbox first thing in the morning. Sign up over on our website, ctvnewskitchener.ca. Just ahead, downtown Paris gets a reprieve from some major road repairs. The reopening date for Grand River Street North and when that construction is expected to resume.
I'm Krista Simpson with details on an effort to bring a new high-level sports facility to Waterloo. The mayor's pitch for a new pool. That story is just ahead.
Sitting at a cool 1 degree here in Waterloo region at this hour. The good news, though, after a bit of cloud cover, some sunshine could be on the way this week. I'll tell you when in your full forecast a little bit later.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We go to a dramatic scene unfolding.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. CTVKitchener.ca, your home for news. When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400. From your screen to ours. Text 10400.
Does Waterloo need a new high-performance aquatic facility? That's something the city's mayor would like to explore. CTV's Krista Simpson is here now with more on this. And Krista, we should note this idea really still in its early stages right now.
Tony, at tonight's council meeting, Waterloo's mayor is putting forward a notice of motion that outlines why she'd like to see the city look at building a high-performance aquatics facility. One where not only local athletes could train, but one that would also welcome athletes from other areas to compete. A high-performance aquatics facility. These pictures are of a complex built in Markham for the Pan Am Games. Dorothy McCabe would like to explore bringing a training facility with a 50-meter pool, practice pool, conditioning rooms, and spectator seating to Waterloo.
I think we need to really think big and think for the future.
The mayor says too often elite athletes have to leave the area once they hit a certain level. The motion going to council says right now Wilfrid Laurier University has the only 50-meter pool in the entire region of Waterloo. It is getting older and doesn't quite meet competition standards.
It's still 6 lanes, so it's not a true Olympic facility. It should be considered like a training facility at only 6 lanes.
And it is a very busy training facility with clubs from as far away as Orangeville coming to use it.
It's a high-use facility, but it has its limits.
The mayor's motion is expected to be discussed at the council meeting next Monday. Mayor McCabe describing this as potentially the first step in what could be a long journey. If the motion is passed, the mayor says it would send a signal to higher levels of government. They're interested in building such a facility, important as it would require provincial and potentially federal financial support.
You know, if you don't put your hand up and say we want to talk about it, then we won't get anywhere.
Having a facility like this will definitely draw a lot of attention.
The prospect exciting for those in the swimming community.
It not only has a big impact for I believe for the city and area, it will have a big impact for 200, 300 kilometer radius for Ontario.
A high performance facility could also free up more time at community pools for swimming lessons and other recreational activities. It could also generate revenue hosting competitions.
It's definitely something that's missing.
Alistair Scorgie of Explore Waterloo Region says the organization would like to be able to host large-scale swimming and other water sports events in a way they can't right now.
There's more demand than there is supply in Ontario for a facility of this type.
As for where in Waterloo such a facility could be built,
we do know that we need to build a new West Side recreation facility. So if we were able to get the provincial dollars to do this, we would look to add that to the design.
As for the Laurier pool, it remains in operation, but a year-long assessment is underway to determine its lifespan and future.
It's the most significant assessment that will have been done on the pool itself and the surrounding area to help us determine what we can do to go forward in a meaningful way.
The mayor says she's spoken with the provincial minister responsible for such things, who has indicated the government is looking for communities interested in building large athletic facilities like what's being proposed. We will see if next Monday Waterloo Council is interested in exploring the idea further too. Tony.
Okay, we'll follow up on that. Krista Simpson joining us live. Krista, thank you. And a milestone moment in the town of Paris, a section of downtown that's been torn apart for months as part of a major reconstruction project, is about to open up again, just in time for holiday shopping. CTV's Colton Weens has more on a new chapter in the community.
Since May, Grand River Street North in Paris has been fully closed between William and Mechanic Streets.
All the infrastructure under the ground, the stuff we can't see is complete, but we're still working on the surface area, and we'll see that finished in the spring of 2026.
But the milestone means it's about to reopen just in time for the holiday shopping season.
Friday night, it will all be open, so any work moving forward is going to be delayed into the spring, and they can do the work in the amenity space and maintain the sidewalk access in the spring as well.
And the news is spreading.
I think when it's all done, everyone's going to like it. It's just a little hard to really figure it out right now, but you know, it's coming together.
Some business owners who have felt the impact say it's been worth the hassle.
It has to be worth it. The infrastructure needed to be done. There is definitely never going to be the right time to do it, and I would rather them do the dig than to find some unwanteds floating around in my basement.
Gropini says customers from outside of the county have still been coming to shop.
They throw Paris into their GPS and it takes them all around the detours. They get here.
Sidewalks on the east side were laid down on Monday afternoon.
On the west side of the street, they didn't have the hydro ducts that the east side did, so it was delayed in that sense because there were 2 lines of ducts that they had to work on.
And that delay brought some challenges for businesses that didn't have back entries.
It's been exactly how I expected it to be, honestly. I mean, it hasn't been pretty at times. The county has no choice. They have to do this. And I feel like they've been doing this with us. I've been outspoken if I feel like the county has done something to us. But this isn't one of those cases.
Cummings says the alternative is a downtown that deteriorates, and so he welcomes the long-term outlook. The downtown dig continues in phases over another 3 years, with the intersection of William and Grand River North set for next year. Colton Weens, CTV News, Paris.
And from downtown Paris to a shot of downtown Kitchener now from our tower camera on this Monday evening. As Alex was mentioning, certainly a chilly one, and it was really that wind that made it feel a lot colder than the temperature on the thermometer might indicate. We saw a little bit of everything over the weekend, so what have we got for the rest of this week? Alex will rejoin us in just a few minutes. Also coming up, authentic Mexican cuisine that's combining comfort and flavor in Cambridge. We're going to be checking out Uno Marketplace a little bit later on this week's edition of Made Right Here. And later in the show, giving donkey work a whole new meaning, the virtual learning tool that's educating people about caring for these animals. All right, Alex is here with a look at our forecast. Now, I saw you on Saturday.
Yes.
And at that time, we were dealing with a little bit of rain. Then I went to an event Saturday night, torrential downpour in Guelph, lightning in the sky, and then snow squalls yesterday. So I feel like I can't make sense of this weather right now. So I'm wondering how you do when you put this forecast together.
I was going to say, I feel like none of us can really make sense of what's been going on, especially like to your point of seeing thunder, lightning, or hearing thunder rather, seeing lightning.
Wild.
In November.
In like the middle of November too. So
not very common.
We must be due to see the sun at some point soon because we've got to complete this like strange trifecta, right?
Got to see a little bit of everything, right? But even this morning, it was a little bit gloomy, a little bit cloudy out there. It was actually nice though without the wind chill when we went out for our morning walk, but it was a slick out there. And yes, Tony, to answer your question, it looks like some sun might be in the forecast, which will be great to see. But as we take a live look from our tower cam this hour, we're seeing just mainly some cloud cover right across Kitchener-Waterloo, many other areas across southern southwestern Ontario, also seeing some similar conditions. Getting into the evening, overnight, we could potentially see a little bit of flurry activity as well. Some areas potentially could be in for a little bit of snow. So Barrie, Orillia, even a little bit south of Peterborough, possibly could see a little bit of that, and even mixing conditions too as we look ahead to your Tuesday. We could see some pockets of maybe a pop-up shower or two, but the chance to see some flurry activity. Again, the cloud cover for your Tuesday is expected. It's really not until Wednesday. This is when we could get a little bit of a break from that cloud cover, and we could be in for some pretty nice vitamin D. A little bit on the cooler side, but again, if we're not really feeling that extreme wind chill, it's quite nice to be outside during this time of year. So, Ontario temperatures, when we look across right now, -5 in Moosonee, -5 in Timmins. It is currently -3 in Sudbury. So slightly warmer here in Kitchener-Waterloo, where we're sitting at about 1 degree. 2 in London, 0 this hour in Mount Forest, and 2 degrees. That was our daytime high that we saw this afternoon. We actually hit that twice. We were playing a little bit up and down with the temperature today. 12 o'clock and 2 p.m. is when we hit 2 degrees. Overnight -6 is our expected low, with that wind chill, though, feeling more like -9, mainly cloudy. And again, about a 40% chance of flurries is what we're seeing at this point. In terms of accumulation or snowfall amount that we could see, possibly around 2 centimeters as we get into to overnight through the evening into tomorrow as well. Daytime high for tomorrow, 3 degrees. That is what we're expected to hit. Mainly cloudy, winds gusting around that 15 kilometers an hour mark. So not as strong as some gusts that we saw today. Some areas are reporting about 50 kilometers an hour when looking at those gusts. And again, just some areas. So in terms of our daytime highs and lows, when we look at our almanac, we're pretty close to seasonal, but slightly below where we should be for this time of year. Record high, 18.3. That would be pretty nice on a November day. That was set back in 1953, and it was -11.7 on this day in 1959. And yes, we're really noticing those days shorter and shorter. So that sun rising 7:18 a.m. and setting officially 4 minutes now before 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So over the next couple of days, we're going to see still sitting around that single-digit territory, mainly cloudy for your Tuesday like we saw. And Wednesday again is when that sun is expected to make an appearance before we could see just a little bit more cloud cover start to roll in for your Thursday. For Lambton, Kent, and Essex, some showers or flurries possible. Looking ahead to tomorrow, high of 4 degrees, dropping down to an overnight low of 0. Mix of sun and cloud as well expected for your Wednesday. And Southern Georgian Bay, if you have any outdoor plans, Wednesday seems to be the day that we want to get outside and enjoy. Sunny sky with a high of 4 expected for you. And here is tonight's Weather Watcher picture, a beautiful, beautiful sunrise in Fergus. This was sent to us by Donna Lindsay. A dusting of snow on the road, leaves now officially off many of those trees. And it's looking and feeling more winter-like, as we said, Tony, especially again after the weekend. But some beautiful, beautiful pink, reds, orange captured in that sunrise shot. So thank you so much for setting this and being tonight's Weather Watcher. And if you are up early to enjoy that sunrise, why not go out for a nice early morning stroll?
I love that our viewers are helping us find the beauty in this. They've got some sharp eyes with those Weather Watcher photos. And, well, you know, it's just none of it's making sense right now. But when you look at a photo like that, you go, okay, there's beauty in it.
Pretty picturesque.
It is. Thanks, Alex.
Thank you.
All right, now to some developing news in Ottawa, where the Liberal government is looking to pass its federal budget tonight. Hours before the vote, we learned that the Liberals will be getting support from the Green Party, although they still need some other opposition support or some MPs to abstain in order to pass it. Let's go to CTV's Mike LeCouture now with the latest.
Now, the Liberals don't have the votes just yet, but it would seem the numbers are shifting. Here's what we know right now. The Bloc Québécois and their MPs have already indicated that they will vote against this budget. Conservatives have hinted strongly that they will do the same. But the Liberals, by mid-afternoon, did get one more vote on their side.
I will vote yes to avoid an election. I will vote yes in the confidence that the Prime Minister heard my pleas and committed to meeting our legally binding commitments under the Paris Agreement, committing to reconciliation, committing to action for adaptation to protect us from the extreme events we can no longer avoid.
Now, the key here is the NDP and their 7 MPs. They have not indicated just yet which way they will vote, but the math is pretty clear. The government either needs 2 abstentions or 1 more opposition MP to vote for their budget. If they don't get either of those 2 scenarios, the government could fall because this is a confidence vote. However, Mark Carney, the Prime Minister, early today, seemingly confident that he will be getting the votes, saying that this budget is the right one for this time, and he believes that it will pass through Parliament.
What Canadians want is to invest in their country. A confident budget, a budget that moves forward, brings us together from local infrastructure to new ports, new future, more independent, stronger Canada, better Canada for all. And that's the opportunity for parliamentarians to vote today.
Now, all eyes will be on the House of Commons at 6:45 Eastern Time. That is when this vote will happen, and that is when we know if Prime Minister Mark Carney's government will survive. Mike Lecouteur, CTV News, Ottawa.
All right, Mike, thank you for that. And as he waits for MPs to vote, Prime Minister Carney held a First Ministers meeting today. He discussed the ongoing trade war with the U.S. Premier Doug Ford says the conversation was positive.
It was good to get together. I recommended we do it more often. We do it frequently, making sure we're all speaking off the same song sheet. And we're gonna have a discussion more frequently than it's been a little while. But I want to thank the Prime Minister for traveling around the world and getting Canada out front.
Today's virtual meeting came after the First Ministers last met in July, and it comes after U.S. President Donald Trump canceled trade talks with Ottawa over an anti-tariff ad that the Ford government paid to run on American networks. After the break, Canadians continue to fall victim to scams. We'll have one couple's story about losing hundreds of thousands of dollars. This cautionary tale next. Every day, people across Canada fall victim to scams. Last year alone, Canadians lost more than $600 million collectively. An Ottawa couple are among the victims. They lost $300,000 in a suspected investment fraud. CTV's Caitlin Wilson has their story.
5 years from retirement, Adnan Siddiqui thought he'd finally built the life he came to Canada for. Instead, he's facing a financial setback he never imagined.
I just lost all faith in humans, especially people that you trust.
He and his wife say they put more than $300,000, a second mortgage on their Ottawa home, into what they believed was a safe investment. A Toronto-based company called Highway Capital, introduced by people they trusted.
They approached us saying that there's this fantastic investment opportunity where we can make a lot of money.
The contract promised a 2% monthly return and their money back after 1 year, signed, they believed, by the company's CEO.
They said that they were investing in two things, I remember. One was stock trading. He said there were no risks. That's exactly what his words were. We're looking at the original agreement.
Siddiqui says payments were supposed to start in July, but July came and nothing. It wasn't until the end of August that 2 months' worth arrived, and then he says everything stopped.
He said, oh, there's a glitch with your banking. Don't worry, it's going to come.
Siddiqui says the man they dealt with, Chief Operating Officer Mark Cummings, eventually introduced them to Eugene Todorov, described as a senior partner. He says they tried to withdraw their investment, but never saw a dime.
Eugene and Mark, they were saying, don't worry, everything's going to be fine.
CTV News has learned of at least 5 others with similar stories, including 2 named in an ongoing civil lawsuit with a combined $1.5 million in losses. But those involved say that total could be much higher. And the man listed as CEO, Vlad Marchuk, says he left the company in April 2023, and the signature on the Siddiqui's contract is a forgery. In an email, Cummings denies all allegations and declined further comment. We reached out to Todorov as well, but did not hear back.
The fact that they are using others to recruit some of these victims suggests that this is a relatively large-scale operation.
This senior fraud investigator says the way the investment was pitched raises concerns, especially the unusually high returns.
That in and unto itself is a huge red flag.
The Ontario Securities Commission wouldn't say if it's investigating, but confirms neither Highway Capital nor Mark Cummings are registered to deal or advise in securities in Ontario. As for Siddiqui, he says the hardest part isn't just losing the money, it's the trust.
I still believe that we were pushed into doing something that we were not ready or willing to do by people that we completely trusted.
Okay, busy evening in the newsroom as we follow some developing news right now. Leanne's here now with an update. And first of all, Leanne, regional police investigating after a body was found at a home in Kitchener earlier today.
Right, Tony. Police responded to a call at a home near Highland Road West and Patricia Avenue just before 1 o'clock. Police say when they got to the scene, they found someone dead and a female was arrested. Investigators believe both people knew each other and they are looking for any witnesses to come forward. It has been 2 weeks since the last Dutchie's Fresh Market location closed its doors, but former employees keep coming forward with claims they have not been paid properly. Dutchie's and its director, Michael Rankema, have already been ordered by the courts to pay 13 former employees following charges involving wage theft. But some of those employees, as well as others who were hired more recently, say they're still waiting on a proper paycheck. CTV News did reach out to Rankema, who did not want to comment on this today.
And looking at some stories our digital team is following online, Leanne. Gosh, I'm almost afraid to ask about this one. It seems like some kind of a Grinch has been at work in Guelph lately.
Yes, and police have arrested a 26-year-old man in Guelph for a series of thefts, actually. Police say the first incident was a daytime porch theft. The packages were gifts for the victim's children. The suspect was arrested and released only to be caught again for breaking into a downtown apartment building and stealing more items. You can read about the investigation on our website, ctvnewskitchener.ca. Tony.
Okay, Leanne Evans following some developing news for us tonight. Leanne, thank you.
Thank you.
A Cambridge eatery is turning fresh ingredients into bold, flavor-packed dishes. Uno Marketplace is filling plates with authentic Mexican comfort food. We see more on this week's edition of Made Right Here.
Hi, my name is Manuel Linares, and we are located in Cambridge, Ontario. We own Uno Marketplace. We specialize in original Mexican food. We are really proud of the way we make food. It represents something really unique to us because we make it the way our grandma made it or the way our aunt made it. So we just make it the same way. We haven't changed a thing. People nowadays are eating healthier and they want to taste something made at home. So basically what we make is something unique, something that is really different to what's out there. We have different dishes. We have cochinita, which is a very typical food from Mexico. We offer al pastor, fish tacos, rotisserie chicken tacos, which is very good, steak tacos. We offer a huge, only one size burrito. You won't find a burrito like ours in the area. From there, we have different options like desserts, like churros, for instance, and we offer also tres leches, which has become a very popular dessert in our store. We spend a little bit more money on buying really good ingredients that makes our tacos and burritos and desserts really authentic. So we don't really go cheap on ingredients. Being innovative in the way we create and present new Mexican dishes. Sometimes we do fusions. We do Canadian-Mexican fusion, which is something really, really interesting. We have been really happy about the support from the community. The smile and the happiness on their face when they come back, it's priceless.
And after the break, the Canadian Football League's Sunday season finale, the outcome of this year's Grey Cup, and the big changes coming to the league next season. Back in a moment.
It's time to build a toy mountain.
Make this holiday season merry for so many kids.
Bring new unwrapped toys to your local Canadian Tire.
All in support of the Salvation Army.
We'll be collecting donations from November 19th to December 24th.
With all donations helping families right here in our community.
Toy Mountain, supported by the Core Group, Goman's Appliances, and the Crack Specialists.
Let's make this the best toy mountain ever.
Visit ctvkitchener.ca for more ways to donate.
The Saskatchewan Roughriders are Grey Cup champions for the first time in 12 years. The win comes as the CFL embarks on some drastic changes for the years to come. Over to CTV's Scott Hurst now for more.
The Saskatchewan Roughriders are returning home to a hero's welcome today.
The Grey Cup victory in Winnipeg ends a championship drought for the Rough Riders, who last won the Grey Cup in 2013. But to give the Montreal Alouettes credit, they made the Saskatchewan players and fans wait until the final play to start celebrating. The Alouettes with a potential chance to tie it on a last-second play to the end zone, but the pass fell incomplete. Grey Cup MVP Rough Riders quarterback Trevor Harris with this message for his teammates.
And without you guys, this doesn't happen, man. We're champs forever. Let's go!
All of this happening as the CFL is set to make some significant rule changes over the next 2 years, including a major overhaul to the field of play. Smaller end zones, shorter fields, and moving the goalposts from the goal line to the back of the end zone. The changes are not sitting well with some die-hard fans who argue it's taking away the uniqueness of the Canadian game, while others say the changes are necessary to modernize the CFL and attract a whole new generation of fans. But first, a chance for the province of Saskatchewan to party, as the city of Regina will be hosting the championship parade tomorrow. Scott Hurst, CTV News, Toronto.
And thank you, Scott. More news in a moment. First, let's check in with Alex.
Chance for some flurries as we get into the rest of your evening and overnight. I'll let you know how cool it could be to start off your Tuesday morning in Wake Up Weather coming up. Here is your Monday night lineup right here on CTV. Stick around for Tracker at 7 o'clock before St. Denis Medical. Then at 8:30, Stumble before The Voice, airing at 9. And The Weakest Link is before CTV National News.
Tonight, casting a crucial budget vote.
What Canadians want is to invest in their country.
Can the Liberal government survive the confidence test, or will Canadians make another trip to the polls? That story and more later on CTV National News.
105.3 Virgin Radio is KW's #1 hit music station. Home of Jeff, KP, and Backstage Ben in the morning. Listen to 105.3 Virgin Radio everywhere with the iHeartRadio app.
Okay, we're going to check in with Leanne one more time as we continue to follow some breaking news this evening. Leanne.
Yeah, Tony, developing happening now. Regional police investigating 2 separate robberies in Cambridge and Waterloo. Police say there's going to be an increased presence at Cambridge Centre Mall and at Conestoga Mall. We'll bring you the latest on both investigations, along with an eyewitness account tonight at 11:30. Also, the latest after a person was found dead in a home in Kitchener today. CTV's Spencer Turcotte is speaking with regional police right now on that investigation, so we'll also have an update on that at 11:30. Tony.
Okay, lots on the go. Leanne, thank you so much. Appreciate that. And Alex is here with our weather forecast, which promises to show us maybe a little bit of the sun later in the week. I'll take it no matter what time of the week it comes.
Yeah, Wednesday should clear out. We can see that sunshine, but it's not that we're not going to see it tomorrow. It just might be hiding behind some cloud
elusive
cover.
Again.
A little bit. Yeah. But here's a look at what your morning is looking like at this part. A chilly -3 to start the day at 6 a.m. Partly cloudy conditions. You could see a mix of sun and clouds, so around 8. Hopefully we get a little bit of that sunshine peeking through. -2, and then we should go up to about 1 degree by 10 a.m. and possibly mainly sunny by that point too. So over the next couple of days, it should be nice to get a little bit of that vitamin D, but hopefully Wednesday we see mainly clear sky for much of the day.
Well, there's a new virtual learning tool to help anyone who owns or loves donkeys.
The Donkey Sanctuary of Canada has created an online education platform to teach and spread best practices throughout the donkey community. CTV's Ashley Bacon with that story.
Taking care of donkeys just got a little easier.
It's a education resource for both new donkey stewards as well as experienced donkey owners to use as a guideline to help keep them updated.
We inform and encourage the responsible stewardship of all animals.
The Donkey Sanctuary of Canada has released a new online virtual tool to help inform the community about the best care practices.
As we continue to learn more about how to properly care for them, we want to share it with the community of donkey owners so they can continue to support them as their donkeys age.
Donkeys were originally a desert animal, and life in the north means adjusting to the climate. The first video takes a deep look at donkey care wear essentials.
Donkey hooves are naturally very porous to absorb moisture from dry desert ground.
It's a great introduction video to learning about donkey housing, how to set up your farm, what kind of vet care they require, as well as farrier and any kind of health resources.
The program is modeled off of the Donkey Sanctuary UK. Each video will have expert advice depending on the content.
We always rely on them for what's the latest welfare practice, and with our own animal care team, what we have seen worked for our lovely Canadian climate as we start to approach winter.
The free resource getting the thumbs up from the Ontario Veterinary College.
It's great for the public to have additional educational resources that are from a good source, especially for animals that maybe the public isn't as familiar with in terms of their care and what their daily needs look like.
The second video is expected to launch next month with a focus on nutrition, and in the new year, more videos to come. Ashley Bacon, CTV News, Puss Lynch.
Very cool. And I was talking to Ashley earlier today, and there's so much we don't know about what happens behind the scenes with the donkey population in this country. There have even been rescue situations where donkeys are rehomed. So I think it's just something that we don't hear about a lot, and fantastic that they're putting out that resource.
And I could be wrong, so correct me if I am, but I'm pretty sure that's also the location where years ago we did a story about a donkey with pants. I think it might be. I think it might be. And Alex Hollick is going to have to nod at me. Was that the location for the donkey wedding as well? Or was that a different place? No? Okay. All right. See, there are several, though, donkey sanctuaries and communities.
Been following a lot to do with the donkey community lately, so check that out online if you want a little bit more on that. And that's our time. Thanks for watching. Leanne's back here tonight at 11:30. We'll see you then. Take care.